used to think that being a good person meant being endlessly available. My phone was an open line, my door was always unlocked, and my emotional energy was a free-for-all. I was the one who replied instantly, the one who dropped everything to listen, the one who absorbed everyone else's chaos and called it empathy. I wore my emotional availability like a badge of honor, believing it made me kind, compassionate, and indispensable. But in reality, it just made me exhausted. This constant outpour of energy left me drained, resentful, and completely disconnected from my own needs. I was a vessel for everyone else's feelings, with no room left for my own. My peace was conditional, entirely dependent on the emotional state of those around me. If they were happy, I could breathe. If they were in turmoil, so was I. This wasn't connection, it was codependence. And one day, I hit a wall. I realized that my so-called kindness was actually a deep-seated fear of being disliked, of being abandoned if I wasn't constantly useful. So, I decided to change the rules. I started to experiment with something that felt incredibly foreign and uncomfortable at first: silence. Not the angry, punishing kind, but a quiet, intentional stillness. When a dramatic text came in, instead of jumping to reply, I'd put my phone down and take a walk. When someone started venting without asking if I had the space to listen, I learned to gently say, "I can't talk right now, but I can later." Each time I did this, it felt like a small act of rebellion. The initial reaction from others was mixed. Some were confused. "Are you okay? You're being quiet." Others were annoyed. My silence disrupted the familiar pattern where they could offload their emotional baggage onto me without a second thought. I lost some friends, or rather, I lost some connections that were built on the shaky foundation of my endless emotional labor. It was painful, but it was also incredibly liberating. It was like cleaning out a cluttered room and finally being able to see the floor. What I discovered in that quiet space was profound. Silence isn't about being cold or uncaring. It's not about building walls to shut people out. It's about building a gate that I control. I get to decide who comes in, when they come in, and how long they stay. This isn't selfishness, it's self-preservation. It's the act of honoring your own energy as a finite, precious resource. Think about it this way: when you're constantly talking, reacting, and engaging, you're in a state of output. You're giving, giving, giving. But when you're silent, you create a space for input. You can finally hear your own thoughts. You can check in with your own feelings. You can ask yourself, what do I need right now? Instead of constantly anticipating what everyone else needs from you. That's where true power lies. It's not in the ability to solve everyone's problems, but in the ability to hold your own center in the midst of chaos. This shift transformed my relationships. The connections that remained became deeper and more authentic. They were based on mutual respect, not on a one-sided dynamic of giver and taker. My friends learned to respect my boundaries because they saw that my presence, when I did offer it, was more genuine and focused. I was no longer a watered-down version of myself, spread thin across a dozen different dramas. I was fully present, offering quality over quantity. This calm presence also changed how I navigated conflict. Before, I would rush to fill every awkward silence with apologies or explanations, desperate to smooth things over. Now, I can sit in that discomfort. I can let the other person have their reaction without immediately trying to manage it. Silence gives the other person space to process their own emotions, and it gives me space to choose my response instead of just reacting. It is the difference between being a pawn in an emotional chess game and being the player who thoughtfully considers their next move. And let's be clear, this isn't about becoming a stoic, emotionless robot. I still feel deeply. I still love fiercely. But I no longer let my emotions be dictated by external forces. I'm the one at the helm of my own emotional ship. I can navigate stormy seas without letting the entire vessel capsize. My calm is my anchor. This journey is ongoing. There are still days when the old people-pleasing habits creep back in. But now, I have a powerful tool. When I feel that familiar pull to overextend myself, I pause. I breathe. I embrace the silence. I remind myself that my peace is my priority and my responsibility. True strength isn't found in how much you can carry for others, but in your ability to stand firm in your own calm, quiet power. It's about understanding that you can be a deeply compassionate person and still have firm boundaries. You can love people with all your heart and still say no. But your inner peace doesn't have to be a casualty of that. So, I invite you to try it. The next time you feel overwhelmed, the next time you feel the urge to immediately react, just stop. Take a breath. Allow for a moment of silence. See what happens when you choose not to engage right away. It might feel strange at first, but in that quiet space, you might just find the most powerful, authentic version of yourself. You'll realize that your calm is not a sign of indifference. It is your superpower. Thanks for joining me in this reflection today. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more conversations like this. Take care of yourselves.